All right, let's look at the wrap up. We'll talk about key points, resources, and support. All right, so we'll just do a quick summary, right? Number one, establish SSID ownership. Remember, we emphasize you have to post the enrollment records before any of the other data can be submitted. So once you've completed the enrollment, you've established ownership of that SSID and therefore can submit other records. Also remember that your records, your subsequent records, whether they be student information, student program, student English language, generally have to fall within your enrollment period. So if you submit a student information record that predates your enrollment record, you will not have ownership of that SSID predating your enrollment start date. So if you ever see the infamous GER 0005 error, that's an indication that your record, whatever you submitted, whether it's a program, discipline, whatever you're submitting, is conflicting with your enrollment start date. Two, demographics are required. All students need demographic information. State level matching will not occur without it. Once you establish enrollment, you have to submit your student information records, or if you're doing online maintenance, your demographic record has to be completed. When we talk about state level matching, that's direct certification, CAFS testing, LPAC testing. You can't just enroll your student and expect them to show up as a student available to test. You need that additional demographic information as well. Three, preserve the existing English language acquisition status or ELAS status. Do not attempt to update a student's incoming ELAS status. CalPADS will not allow it. The status will only be allowed to update if it changes. If you have an EL student and they are eligible to be reclassified, you can submit an RFEP record. If a student enrolls as an English only student and you have information suggesting they're an EL student, you cannot simply submit that information, right? There's a procedures, there's correction reason codes to get that student tested. If the student has any status, EO, EL, and it does not need to change, or you do not need to submit your own record for that student. The ELAS record can exist indefinitely until that status changes. 4, TOMS transmits the initial LPAC status. So for all those students that are TBD and are eventually non-English speaking students or do not have English as a primary language, the initial LPAC results will come from TOMS, and whether they are EL or IFEP, that will be populated to CalPADS. Likewise, we cannot change an IFEP status, and we can only update an EL to an RFEP. We cannot submit or delete EL and IFEP status in CalPADS. Those come from TOMS, and there's a stairs procedures if those are ever a mistake. 5, use ADEL for students that are age 22 and over. So ADEL stands for Adult English Learners. Students that are 22 and older should have their EL status changed to ADEL. These are typically long-term English learners that have never reclassified. Because that status is near the max out age, their status is usually a short-term status. But once a student turns 22, the EL status needs to be updated to ADEL. 6, count eligibility on census day. The program must have a start date on or before census day to be eligible on your Fall 1 counts. For example, a student that's eligible for a free lunch program after census day will not count on your LCFF. They will not generate extra funding for your LEA. If this is a clerical mistake, you want to avoid it or correct it before your data is certified. You want to identify all of your students upon enrollment if they're eligible. That means collecting and submitting the demographic record, making sure that they can be part of your direct certification. And remember, the direct certification runs at the beginning of every month. So you want to have all your students identified before census day. Same with your EL students. You want to make sure they get tested immediately upon enrollment so that you have a status. If you have a student that is TBD on census day and it comes back as EL after with the status day after census day, that student is not eligible for LCFF funding because that student did not have an EL status on census day. Be sure to identify your student's eligibility for whatever by census day. 7, submit your student with disability files through the API. There is functionality that allows you to submit student with disability records in CalPADS using online maintenance and even through a batch file if need be. But the most efficient method is to use the API directly from your CSIS system into CalPADS. This will ensure the data that's coming from your CSIS system is mirrored in CalPADS. We want all the data to be the same. It's likely that many of you are not your special education data coordinator and are not submitting the data, but you are ultimately the CalPADS data coordinator and ultimately responsible for these records. And so you want to make sure that these records, you want to advise your CSIS data coordinator, you want to submit the data using API directly from your CSIS system. And then lastly, sequence matters. Establish the record, maintain the status, then submit the program data. In other words, establish ownership, update the demographics, and submit the program information or the additional information to complete the student's profile. Okay, so this is the first opportunity that you get to see the Fall 1 milestones for the 26-27 year, and the sooner the better. The first thing I want to do is bring your attention to November 20th on the left, where we have that alarm clock. This is the recommended date for 0 errors. So you're submitting your data, you're completing your student's profile, you're resolving data discrepancies in CalPADS and snapshots running. If there's any cert errors, you have resolved them all. This date is in advance of any Thanksgiving holiday and is approximately 3 weeks prior to the Fall 1 deadline. It gives you 3 weeks to review reports, and we are considering that many of you will be out, if not the whole week of Thanksgiving, several days, right? We here at CSIS will be out 2 days during that week. So we want to give you ample time to review the reports. We'll be pushing and trying to support you to reach this date. We emphasize this first because the LEAs that have 0 errors in advance of the deadline typically are successful in their submission, not just certifying and completing it, but the data is correct because they have allowed time to review the counts on the reports. Now, from the top, from now, whenever you are hearing this or watching this recording, till the first week of October, the expectation is for you to be completing the data in your SIS and your CSIS systems and submitting those records to CalPADS, obtaining new SSIDs in the fall for your newly enrolled students, identifying those students who have been enrolled before, and obtaining the SSID for your transfer students. You're completing the data population in CalPADS. That would also include submitting the records, posting the SENR, the student information, the CELA student program, and the special education files. By the beginning of November, you should have completed your data population. Many of you will do the majority of this work well in advance of November, I know. But the reason why we say the beginning of November is the last opportunity for direct certification is the November direct certification pool. Your last opportunity to identify students. So those students that might transfer or start school in beginning of October, say you have a student that shows up September 27th and you submit their data to CalPADS 2 weeks later. Their information is relevant on census day, although it didn't get into CalPADS. So that's why we allow you November. You have their records updated. That November pool will identify that student was enrolled on census day, and we'll look at the student information to see if they are eligible for free or reduced price meals. And if so, they will count. So we identify as the beginning of November after that last direct certification pool as the benchmark for you to have completed your data population in CalPADS. From the middle of November, 11/9, to the 0 error pool, we expect you to be resolving these errors, right? And again, this would just be the CDDs and certification errors. Any submission errors you have to resolve to pass the validations. So any data discrepancies, any certification errors, all your anomalies, we expect them to be resolved before the 20th or by the 20th. That's, approximately 2 weeks here. That's plenty of time. You have us here at CSIS to help you. And then going into the end, coming after that Thanksgiving break, is the time that you want to share this information to your data stewards. If you're new, sometimes we take the burden of submitting the data and looking at the reports all on ourselves. We don't want to be in a siloed environment. We want to extend the responsibility throughout our LEA. We want them to be invested and provide support, but we also want to take advantage of our data stewards. Your EL coordinator knows more about your EL students than you do. They know the ramifications of testing and serving these students better than you do. So they should have a copy of those EL reports. Your CBO should be interested in the counts of students that are disadvantaged. There's a specific LCFF report that you want to disseminate to your superintendent, your CBO. You want to make sure your counts are correct and that you're adequately funded, right? So you want to identify who the reports are relevant to and provide them those reports. After your accounts are verified, you're good to LEA approve your data. In a perfect world, we would have self approval as well. But the first deadline, the initial deadline, the one that's going to give us our data previews, we want to have it in LEA approved status. If this is foreign to you because you're new, don't worry. Watch the reporting and certification video, and this will all be explained, right? You can even watch the video and come to live training. That would even be better. So you get the precursor and watching the video, and then you'll get the training. And then you want to conclude your fall one submission by making any final amendments, any final changes, any improvements during the amendment window. Again, in a perfect world, you would be enjoying your winter holiday. You would take the 2 weeks given and spend time with your loved ones. But if you are working and you are making amendments, there is an amendment window from the 14th to the 22nd of January. And then the final deadline for fall one is January 22nd, 2027. Well, we're glad that you watched the video, but we don't want you to leave without knowing that support and assistance is available. The best way to contact us is to use the web form. You can see the link here. It's in CalPADS under left navigation under help. It's also on the user manual home screen. If you're at the CalPADS user manual, scroll down and the link for support is there as well. If you submit a support request, all the eyes available on the client services team can help you. You can also email us. It's direct. If you're familiar with someone, you can email your CalPADS LEA monitor directly, or you can email the support inbox as well. We do have a phone number available. So if you're driving home from work and you have a revelation or an epiphany, you can email us, wonder, you can call us, ask us, hey, what do you think of this, right? No, that's not how it works. If you call us, you have to leave a voicemail. That voicemail will be transcribed automatically and sent to the CalPADS inbox. So it's best to always use a web form or email, right? We do have a phone number, but it's not efficient. I don't want to discourage you from reaching out for support, but obviously the web form and email are more direct. And then the listserv. This is the CSIS FigMat listserv. There are many listservs associated with CalPADS. There's the CalPADS LEA listserv, which if you enroll in, you will get a one-way form of communication, announcements from the CDE like flash messages. The CSIS listserv is different. It's a two-way form of communication. CDE subscribes to it. Our analysts, our trainers, we're all subscribed to it. Most importantly, other LEAs are subscribed to it. And it's those LEAs, that crosstalk that's in the field, because it's a two-way form of communication, that makes it valuable, right? So we're the CalPADS experts. Any question you have about CalPADS, I'm confident that the CalPADS support team, whether it's CSIS or CDE, can help you. But when you have a question about your student information system, specific nuances of getting data into CalPADS or codes associated with your student information system, that's not our area of expertise. But you might have someone in your LEA or your district, probably outside of your LEA, someone in your county It might be someone else in California. You could be in the South and someone in the North might have the same combination, right? It could be an Aries user with SACE submitting data to CalPADS, and they may know the procedure that you need to make those three systems work, right? It might be a Cyrus user in Central Valley and a Cyrus user in the Inland Empire, and they can tell you, oh, it's Power School. This is how these two systems interact. This is what I do to get my data into CalPADS. That level of expertise with your local systems, you can find information on the FigMet, CSIS FigMet listserv. It's a valuable tool. So if you're new, I encourage you to sign up for the listserv. You get to see the personality of your constituents or the other members of the field. It's a great listserv. It's a great community, and it's ever expanding. All right, so we want to say thank you for your dedication to the students of California. Thank you for your dedication to your LEA by attending this training and getting the information you need. Remember, self-paced training is a great tool. We encourage it. There's many videos on YouTube, but also register for the live training, right? Go to your FigMet, CSIS FigMet learning page and register for the live training. It's highly rated. We get a lot of interaction. It's a chance to meet the trainers, ask questions live. I encourage you to watch their self-paced trainings and then come to the live and you'll get all your questions answered. So again, we want to leave you with thank you and see you out there.